Welcome back inside the broadcast booth. I hope you haven't gotten tired of us here because we got the third game for you in 4 days, and that's only talking about field hockey. I'm Sam Graham, super excited to take you through Lynchburg and Center today. Back-to-back neutral site games today on campus of Liberty University. We're hitting the AstroTurf again, and that served Lynchburg pretty well yesterday in a 2-0 win over York. That was across town at Sweetbriar. For all intents and purposes, this is really the 6th straight game that Lynchburg has played in the Hill City, and they will get to return to Schellenberger Field against Stevenson next week in some midweek action before they finally have to hit the road again. That might be a little bit of a shock to the system, but Lynchburg looking for its 5th consecutive win today. That win over York yesterday, a marquee win if ever there was one. Number 7 team in the country. But before we get into our pregame show today, I want to throw it over to the studio, making some LHSN history. Evan Gates is on standby with some updates from field hockey around the ODAC, as well as Lynchburg sports in the fall.
Well, thank you, Graham. Here in Lynchburg, it is a great day to have the return of sunshine. A little bit of rain yesterday, no problem, as we're out here in Liberty. And yesterday, a great day for Lynchburg sports as well. 4 wins across 4 sports. We'll get it to you right here. The team you're watching today, field hockey, as Graham said, beat York 2-0. Now 6-1 on the season. Goals for Dorstein. Marlou Vendricks, as Sam Graham put it, an absolute nuke. And they're on with great momentum today. Men's soccer, they're also continuing their tear at Roanoke. They won 3-1. Best start since 2018. Their only loss against CNU. Also a team that is heading in the right direction. Women's soccer at Eastern Mennonite. How about a 3-1 result? Megan Lauder, 2 goals. Ella Irons picked up her first of the season. They'll be right back at home in Lynchburg tomorrow as they take on the Eagles from Mary Washington. And then to complete the 4-sport sweep, volleyball got it done at Ferrum, a 4-setter and a victory. It's the first time this year we've seen 4 wins on the same day for the fall sports. Hoping to see a lot more in this field hockey team that has faced a gauntlet 3 games in 4 days of action. They're hoping to get it done against Center today.
Thank you very much, Evan. Yeah, making a little bit of history on Lakeside Drive. All 4 fall sports teams getting the win yesterday on it was a wet and soggy Saturday. As Evan said, thankfully the sun has peeked back out over Liberty Mountain today, hopefully proving to be a good sign as Lynchburg again looks to pick up win number 5 in a row. The Hornets are 6-1, firing on all cylinders. We'll talk a little bit more about that when we come back, but first, a short break before we return and preview Lynchburg and Center. Welcome back inside the press box as promised again for the second straight game. LHSN coming to you live from on the road, sort of a little bit closer than we were yesterday at Sweetbriar, but back-to-back neutral site games. Field today at Liberty making you think a little bit about the Boise State Broncos. It's a blue turf, and rest assured the ball will be flying all over the place. We saw that some yesterday on the AstroTurf on campus of Sweetbriar. We really saw Lynchburg's international players take advantage of that. You know, as Coach Steele said a couple of days ago, you've got a bunch of players, you know, coming from the Netherlands, coming from Germany. In the case of Kanya Mazizi, coming from Zimbabwe. And as she said, you know, since they've been 5 or 6 years old, all they've known is AstroTurf. This is the preferred surface to play field hockey on. And we saw that, you know, really personified when Anna Dorstein picked up her first goal, her first collegiate career goal yesterday. That wound up being the game winner in a 2-0 decision over York. Lynchburg with that 2-0 decision, that was the most goals allowed by York all season long. Prior to that, they'd only given up 3 on the year, and again, had not given up more than 1 goal at any point this season. The Lynchburg offense has been rocking and rolling really throughout the majority of this home stand. Kind of got punched in the mouth a little bit by Ursinus, a game where they controlled time of possession. They got more shots up than the Bears did. Ursinus just made the most of their opportunities, came away with a 3-1 victory, but since then, Lynchburg has really found its identity. You guys have seen that time and time again, as we've been very happy to have now the 6th straight game bringing to you on LHSN, and again, we will have one more this upcoming week when Lynchburg plays host to Stevenson. Again, after that, it will finally be a 3-game road trip. I'll get a chance to catch my breath. We'll start getting back to covering some more soccer and volleyball, but we have really enjoyed having field hockey both on Schellenberger Field, Sweetbriar College, and today at Liberty University. Today the opponent is Center. Colonels come into today's contest 3-4 on the year. It's the 2nd season at the helm of the Center program for their head coach, Grace Goodbarn. Comes into this one boasting a 13-11 career record. Obviously, it hasn't been exactly the start that Center has wanted this year, but chance to get back to 500 today with a win. And of course, on the other side, Lynchburg, very, very great start to the 2023 campaign, just for lack of a better word. I mean, they're 6-1 right now. They've got 4 straight wins in the bag, and they're looking for number 5 today. It has been exactly pretty much the start that Coach Enza Steele could have asked for in year 45 of her time at the helm of the Lynchburg program. And again, looking for win number 5 in a row. We will take one more break and return in just a few moments for the start of game number 8 on the year, Lynchburg and Center, coming up next. Wrapping up the national anthem here from the Hill City neutral site game on the year, number 2, Lynchburg over the past 2 seasons, 4-0 playing in neutral site locations. And even better than that on the year now, 3-0 playing away from Schellenberger Field, looking to improve that to 4-0 today. One of those, again, like yesterday, it's a neutral site game. Definitely a little bit closer for Lynchburg, just a short trip across town, right down Wards Road. But here we are, ready to go. 3-4 Center taking on 6-1 and nationally ranked number 25, Lynchburg. Before we really get things going here, again, the anthem has wrapped up. We'll run you through the starting lineups first for the Visitors Center. It's going to be Megan Speth. She is tied for the goal lead on a shallow roster here for center. Not a whole lot of players going to be available in reserve. Just 19 players that have made an appearance on the year. But she will be joined by number 14, Peyton Gom, 2 assists, 1 goal on the year for a total of 14 points. Then it'll be Emily Ritchie, Maggie Will, Claire Martin, Abby Brainer. That's our player to watch for the center squad today. 2 defensive saves on the year. And rest assured, center will be tested on the defensive side. Lynchburg has done a great job over the last several games controlling time of possession and really running things up on the offensive side of the ball. Hannah Lange, Carly McHenry will be in cage for center today. Solid start to the year for McHenry, a 3-3 record on the year. 44 saves, 11 goals allowed for a 1.53 goal against average and an 80% save percentage. A pair of goalies today, both boasting right at or over 80% save percentages on the year. We, of course, well acquainted with what Kayla Brady's done in cage, not only this year, but in her 3 years as the Lynchburg starter. Then it'll be Claire Mechlin, Hallie Rigdon, Reese Smith, and Caroline Toller rounding out the group for center. Now turning over and looking at Lynchburg. For the most part, it's been business as usual. We've seen the same starting 11 for Lynchburg every game this year, but we do have one change on the day. So it'll be Kayla Brady again in cage. Kanyasili Mazizi, who picked up an assist over York yesterday. She'll be joined by Mallory Lamb. Renee Ventile making her first start. That's one of those international players for Coach Steele's squad. Could be a little bit of strategy. Ventile looked good against York yesterday, and she gets the start today. Then it'll be Riley Cameron making her 50th career start on the defensive side for Lynchburg. Then Olivia Muir, Marlu Vendricks, and Erin Boatwright round out the starting 11 for Lynchburg. Miss Madison Mark in there as well. So center controlled possession off of the jump today. They are sporting black jerseys on the road, so a little bit of a unique take. But again, neutral site contest. Guess you get a little bit of wiggle room with how you want to come out from an apparel perspective. Lynchburg in those sharp gray with white trim and red letters. If memory serves, the 3rd time we've seen these kits for Lynchburg this year. Hornets trying to set up their first offensive possession. Instead, center trying to get out and transition a little bit. Riley Cameron controlling it right now, the fantastic center back for this Lynchburg team. Unable to corral it there for center in the center of the field. Lynchburg takes over immediately, getting up a shot. Looks like it will be Madison Mark, 1 goal on the year for Mark. And to add to that, 3 goals on the year for Lynchburg players with the last name of Mark. Lauren Mark, Madison's younger sister, a pair of goals through just her first 7 career games. Trying to feed inside there was Lamb. She was looking for Schaefer. Schaefer has not scored yet on the season, but I'm going to keep saying it until she does. Rest assured, that score is coming. See if today will be the day. Hornets have been a balanced offensive attack all season long, but especially over the last several games. 10 different goal scorers in the last 3 outings for Lynchburg. Anna Dorestein was the most recent. It was funny, speaking to her after the game yesterday, our post-game interview, which I hope you go watch that on YouTube on our LHSN page, as well as all of our fantastic content being put out there, especially by Sam Rice, our Director of Digital Media, and Tim LeDuc, our Sports Information Director. Some great stuff on that YouTube page. But I just asked her, this is your 3rd game in 4 days. How are the legs feeling? How's the mental and physical fatigue? And she didn't hold back. She was very quick to say, I'm pretty tired. The legs are hurting a little bit. It's been a lot of pounding. It's been a lot of running, but still very much seemed excited to be out here today competing and looking for win number 7. Hornets trying to get out to a 7-1 start for the 2nd consecutive season. Mazizi threads the needle there, gets away from a pair of defenders. Stop me if you've heard that one before. Mazizi 4 points on the year. It was a slow start offensively, but defensively she hit the ground running. Right from the very first game, I had an opening meeting with Coach Steele after the first road trip, those first few games of the season. I said, I know she hasn't scored yet, but Kanya Mazizi, she seems to be everywhere at once. Flies around the field. Seems like she's always the fastest player on either side. And Coach Steele just kind of looked at me, chuckled, and said, well, she's used to playing on AstroTurf back home in Zimbabwe, so just wait till you see her on the faster field. And this will be the 2nd time that we've seen Mazizi and her contemporary international players for this Lynchburg team, 10 of them in total. Expect to see at least probably 8 or so of them today. And again, recorded an assist yesterday against York, her 4th point of the season. 1 goal, 2 assists on the year. Boatwright working in isolation down the far side. Back to our usual perch today here right at midfield. Great view. Selfishly speaking, an opportunity to sit today, rest the legs a little bit. Mentioned Anna Dorstein talking about how her legs were feeling and the rest of this Lynchburg team. You know, I don't know if mine feel quite like that, but, you know, anytime you get an opportunity to sit, certainly going to take it. Battle for it at the middle of the field. It's going to be a foul going against Lynchburg. It's hard to find things that Lynchburg consistently has not excelled at this year. One of them, his foul numbers have been a little high. Season high 55 in the second game of the year against Dickinson. They had 46 against York yesterday. Coach still tell you, you know, sometimes that's just a byproduct of having a fast team, an athletic team. But you definitely want to try to limit those when possible. It is going to be the first penalty corner of the day for Lynchburg. They had 6 of these yesterday against York. Cashed in on the first 2 of the day, and that proved to be the difference for Lynchburg. Dorstein keyed it in on the goal that she scored. Again, her first collegiate score. Today, it's more of a familiar face down there along the end line. It's Erin Boatwright. She has certainly sent in most of the corners on the year for Lynchburg. It's the Lynchburg team that comes in averaging just over 7.5 penalty corners per game. So we have a brief stoppage. Looks like some equipment was missing, or maybe a replacement of a stick. It's going to be the goalkeeper for center, Carly McHenry. Before we get this penalty corner, run you through her stats again. She's played all 431 minutes in goal through the first 7 games of center season. A 3-3 record, 80% save percentage, and a 1.53 goal against average. This is a good defense for center. They're going to need to rely on that today. They will be tested. Sent up to Vendricks. I think it was tapped in. We'll see who they give the goal to. If it was Marlou Vendricks, she is on an absolute heater.
Lynchburg. Scored by number 19, Marlou Vendricks.
For right now, we're giving it to Marlou. I could be wrong. It almost looked as though she turned around to the press box and said, no, it wasn't me. So we'll have to confirm on that. Sam Rice, our fantastic director of digital media, is down as a statistician for this game, so we'll get that sorted out. Either way, it's a point for Vendricks, whether it's a goal or an assist. So we're going to say Sam Rice, shout out to Kyle Haney. Sam Rice, so nice, you got to say it twice. Sam Rice gives the goal to Marlou Vendricks. We'll see if that holds up, but for now it is goal number 6 on the year, which serves 2 facets. On one hand, it would send Vendricks into the team lead in points with 16. It would tie her for the team lead in goals with Erin Boatwright at 6 apiece. It's going to stay on the Lynchburg attacking third. And most importantly, you know, it is a 1-0 lead for Lynchburg. This is where I have my obligatory statement. Lynchburg has yet to trail in any of its 6 wins this season. In fact, the one time they've trailed this year is their 1 loss. That was their Ursinus. They got out to a 1-0 lead. Lynchburg tied that game at 1-1, and then 2 second-half goals gave Ursinus the 3-1 decision. So certainly getting that first goal on the board is a good sign for this Lynchburg team. They feed it inside now for Schaefer, looking for her first goal. Stepping out of the cage and knocking it down. Good stop made by McHenry in goal. But she's not out of the woods yet. Going to be penalty corner number 2. We're only 6.5 minutes through this game. That's not a good sign for the center side of things.
Lynchburg corner.
Lynchburg not necessarily near the top of the country in penalty corners per game, but if you want to talk about cashing in on those corners, you're not going to find a whole lot of teams better at those set pieces than Lynchburg is. Aaron Boatwright's got the feed on lockdown. This time she goes to Ventil. Ventil trying to scoot it across the carpet, stepping out. Defensive save looks like made. Get you that number here in a moment. Looks like it's going to be number 9, Hallie Rigdon. If she's credited with the defensive save, it would be her first of the year. And for a moment, it looks like Lynchburg was going to congregate to get ready for another penalty corner. Now we're going to get some substitutions into the game. I believe that's Sar Prinz, which would be her first appearance in a couple of games. And she's going to come in, looks like, for the penalty stroke. First one of the year for Lynchburg. Penalty stroke awarded. Golden opportunity for Lynchburg to go up 2-0. Prinz scoops it up and in. Lynchburg jumps out to a 2-0 advantage. We're not even 7 minutes gone by into this contest. Sar Prinz, first goal of the season.
Scored by number 4, Sar Prinz.
We mentioned the international players could be a factor today. Obviously, that's not so much a play in the flow of the game, but a pair of goals from international players on this Lynchburg roster have the Hornets out to a 2-0 advantage. And folks, that is a 17-2 Lynchburg advantage across the first halves of this season. It has been, I mean, fast start is an understatement. This Lynchburg team on both sides of the ball has been just incredible in the first and second quarters. They've still yet to allow a second quarter goal. An 8-0 advantage. That's buoyed by a 4-0 advantage over Kenyon alone, a 9-1 decision in that one. But Lynchburg now, this is the worrisome portion of the game for center, and you hate for it to come this early because now it allows Lynchburg to relax a little bit, but you know they're still going to continue to apply that offensive pressure. But now, I mean, they can play loose. It's a 2-goal advantage, and they're confident in their defense as well. I mean, Riley Cameron, I'll go ahead and say, played one of her best games of the year yesterday against York. Great career for Cameron, all-conference level defender, and just a tremendous amount of trust that Coach Steele has in her senior center back. This time it is the defensive stop momentarily taken from center. Whistle blows on a foul. It's going to give it back to Lynchburg, and Kanye Mazizi is going to key it back in for the Hornets. With a 2-0 advantage, just under 7 minutes to play in the first quarter. A beautiful Sunday morning, third brunch time LHSN edition for this field hockey team this year. Another 11 a.m. start. Grab your waffles out of the toaster, record the first quarter of your favorite team's NFL game, and sit down and watch some of the best field hockey in Division III right now. Lynchburg, 25th ranked team in the country. But over the past several games, as they get ready to set up for penalty corner number 3, I'm telling you, this has been one of the best teams in Division III. That big win over number 7 York yesterday will likely vault them up in the polls when we get a new one from the NFHCA this coming Tuesday. Hornets open the year ranked 23rd and have slipped one spot in each subsequent poll. Don't think that's going to be the case this time. Cameron thinks about going to her left, goes to her right. Schaefer lines one up. It is sent out wide, may have been blocked. But either way, center escapes this penalty corner. It does stay on this attacking third. Mallory Lamb chases it down in the far corner. She looks to send it into Vendricks, misplayed. Madison Mark made an attempt at it along the end line, couldn't corral it, turned back over to center. Center of the field, we'll see if center can start to set up some offensive pressure. Crossing midfield with the ball is Megan Speth, 2 goals, 1 assist on the year, a team high 5 points. Shot percentage not quite up where Speth would like it, south of 10% at 8 on the year. She looks to feed one inside. It's knocked down by Cameron, then corralled by her teammate Reese Smith. Now it's a reset with Lynchburg in their own defending third. Renee Ventile getting the start today. She got it over Allie Freeman, so Lynchburg changing up its personnel a little bit. Not necessarily a one-for-one trade-off. Ventile, freshman midfielder out of the Netherlands. Freeman, technically listed as a midfielder, but has played pretty much the entirety of her time in her first-year campaign for Lynchburg as a defender. Mostly on the far side, with Mallory Lamb controlling the near side. Turnover for Lynchburg, gives it back to center. So now starting to stack a little bit of time on the left side of the field. Good sign for Coach Goodbarn's team. Again, looking for win number 4 on the year. First neutral site contest of the 2023 campaign for center. Sending it back in was Speth. And now this time the foul goes against center and gives it back to Lynchburg. The aforementioned Ventile will send it back in for Lynchburg. And you see not a ton of on-ball pressure. Obviously, you're afforded some space coming off of the resets off fouls if you're the offensive team, but not seeing the same kind of on-ball pressure from center today. Maybe afraid to get beat down the field. Trying to avoid that right now. That shot just wide as Boatwright ran in to try and tap it in. The shot came originally from Olivia Van Meter. She got a shot off yesterday against York. In fact, the first shot of the game for Lynchburg, and it didn't come until the second quarter. That was a game in which the two teams combined for just 19 shots on the day. Hornets holding York to just 5 shots. Spartans did place 4 of them on frame, but Kayla Brady made all 4 saves when her number was called. We'll get to her as we get into the second quarter today when we have a moment to reset things, but a career year for Kayla Brady now taking shape 8 games into this season. Ball sent out of bounds by center. Give it back to Lynchburg with 2:45 remaining in the first. Dodestein has it in the far corner, trying to poke it away from, it's like Emily Sears into the game for the first time today, only her 3rd appearance of the year. With the athleticism of Lynchburg, won't be surprised if we see some fresh legs all throughout this game from the center side of things. We got a break in the action with 2:34 to play. Discussion ensuing between the officials. Appear to be looking down at the turf. While they do that, we'll finish our last point from a moment ago. Yes, center playing off the ball a little bit more than we saw from York yesterday. York employing a lot of traps, a lot of double teams. And it was hard for Lynchburg to get away from that pressure. Obviously, they did and wound up picking up 2 goals, but both of those came off of set pieces. Lynchburg never scored within the natural flow of the game yesterday, and that's got to be a win in some degree for York, a great defensive team. We mentioned they had let up just 3 goals on the year prior to yesterday, giving up 2 to Lynchburg. Seeing a different look from center, and that time, even though that might be a little bit of a preventative defense, Lynchburg still beats them down the field. Olivia Van Meter getting out in space, getting the shot off. And when I say that was just wide, we're talking couldn't have been more than an inch or 2 off the left post. Boatwright almost taps it in. She gets another opportunity here, but her shot goes off wide to the right. Frustration from Erin Boatwright. Said something to the officials. Looks like she was looking for some sort of call. They will draw the penalty corner, so that might have been the frustration from Boatwright. So another penalty corner, and this time it'll be Dodestein sending it in. Boatwright instead comes out split far wide. Formation for Lynchburg. The typical one, it's Kuhn and Boatwright on the near side. Brooke Highland into the game on the far side. Cameron in the middle of it all, ready to take possession. She sends a pass inside, and Lynchburg has opened up a 3-pack in the first quarter. It is a trio of goals with 2:09 to go in the first period. Looks like Danielle Kuhn tapped that one in. We'll again wait for the official word.
Here we go, center. Heads up.
Cameron credited with the shot. They say it was blocked. And again, a lot of congestion in close to the goal. We don't have the benefit of replay today here on the road. Nonetheless, Lynchburg couldn't ask for a much better start. It's a 3-0 advantage for the Hornets, looking to improve to 7-1 on the year. As soon as we know, we'll get you the official score on that last play. If it was Kuhn, it'd be a career first goal. She thought she had her first earlier in the year against Ursinus. It was wiped off the board. Officials said she hit it with the back end of her stick. That was actually a pretty monumental moment in the course of this Lynchburg season. It's now Schaefer trying to get out in space, looking for goal number 4. Instead, dribbles it back across the end line. Nope, last touched by center. And here we go again, the center defense having to once again bend down, pick up those face masks, and get ready for another penalty corner. And you see the mood starting to shift a little bit on the center side of things. Probably some frustration now creeping in for the team in black. The pressure all on them right now, a 3-0 deficit. 14 minutes gone by in this game. Lynchburg looking to tack on another. 3 first quarter goals is a season high for Lynchburg. Cameron has it right now, works to her right to Schaefer. Schaefer sends one in, kicked away, in goal by McHenry. Good stop by number 21, sporting pretty sharp blue jersey there in goal. Gold lettering. Meanwhile, on the other side, Kayla Brady yet to be tested in frame. Centers spent a little bit of time on the attacking third in this first quarter, not as much as they would like. Still haven't recorded that first official shot. Schaefer splitting numerous defenders, trying to keep her head up, look for somebody to pass it to. And here we go again, another penalty corner afforded Lynchburg's way. The Hornets may match their season average for corners per game in the first quarter. This is the 6th one of the day. So Coach Steele reaching deep into her bag of tricks to find some different set pieces. Embarrassment of riches on the offensive side. Lynchburg looking to push the advantage to 4-0. 4 goals would be tied for the most of any quarter this year. Lining one up is Micah Uchis. Beauty of a shot. It's just blocked. Better save made by McHenry. Credit to McHenry continuing to stand in there and do everything she can. That save is big. Gets center out of the corner. But it is a 3-0 advantage. The story for Lynchburg. Penalties, fouls, you name it, going against center. Opportunistic offense from Lynchburg. They convert 2 penalty corners into scores and get their first penalty stroke of the year. It's a 3-0 advantage after 1. We'll step aside and be back in just a moment. From Liberty University, you're watching LHSN. Welcome back on LHSN Sunday Brunch Special. 20 seconds before we get the second quarter underway in Lynchburg. It is all Hornets so far in this one. They lead 3-0. Looking to pick up their 5th consecutive win and improve to 7-1 on the year. Absolutely no signs of a hangover from yesterday's big win over York. Lynchburg looks just as sharp as ever. We got some fresh faces into the game for the second quarter. We'll clarify that last goal scored. Apologies to Danielle Kuhn. It would go to Kessa Schaefer. Still a season first, not a career first for Schaefer. In fact, she is the career active leader in points for this Lynchburg team. He mentioned did not have a goal on the year so far. She finally knocks off the rust and picks one up. Her 21st career score, 57th career point for Schaefer, who has now started more than 75 games for this Lynchburg team. After Coach Steele's 650th win, couple of games back over Randolph-Macon. Asked her, you got a pair of fifth years on this team, Sydney Metz, joined by Kessa Schaefer. I said, is it a little extra special? Those two players that have now been around 4 or 5 years were here for win number 600. And she said, yeah, absolutely. I mean, when I'd announced my retirement, Kessa called me and said, Coach, I'm going to come back. I'm going to be here for you on this final year and round this thing out. So Schaefer picks up her first goal. Lynchburg looking for a 5th. It's Aurora Balsamo into the game. She tries multiple times. Vendricks was in there as well. Balsamo got off 2 shots, both blocked by McHenry. The third one hits the back of the cage. But again, Balsamo and Vendricks were both in there. I'm going to say it was Balsamo. She just entered the game to start this second quarter. So again, it's a good sign that Lynchburg has as many players as they do inside the circle and close to the cage on these scoring opportunities. It's just made it a little bit hard from our perspective sometimes with people blocking the way to find out exactly who's scoring. But we will get it all sorted out here eventually. Lynchburg opens up a 4-0 advantage. And I'll remind you, they came into today 15-2 advantage across the first halves of each of their first 7 games. That is now up to 19-2. Hornets' season high for goals and a half is 6, and with 13:44 to go and possessing the ball in their attacking third, Hornets are playing with some purpose. Marlu Vendricks sends one in. Waiting there on the post for it was Jenna Tangiers, but it comes in too strong. So they say that last goal is actually first goal that we weren't sure on. We gave it to Marlu Vendricks at the moment, and then we thought she turned around to the press box and said, no, that wasn't me. It was actually Kanyasili Mzizi's second goal of the season. So the offense has been picking up for Marlu Vendricks, but it's also been rounding into form for Kanye Mzizi. She has now recorded a point, if memory serves, 3 of the past 4 outings. An assist yesterday against York, and a goal in the early going today. So we're starting to get all these goals sorted out. Again, there's been 4 in this first half, so bear with us. It's a good problem to have. This time turning, firing. And I mean firing was Madison Mark. Looking to get in on the scoring action. Also note, with Kessa Schaefer picking up the goal today, she is the 11th different Hornet. Remember, only 11 players can be on the field at a time. One of them is a goalkeeper. So the 11th different Hornets who record a goal over the past 4 contests. Lynchburg back with its backs against the wall for only really the second or third time today. Quickly looking to get away from center. We mentioned where center was going to need to look to control this game was on the defensive side. This is a team that only had 22 points on the year. That's tied for as many goals as Lynchburg had coming in, just 9 tallies on the season for center. So defense has really carried them through the first third of this schedule. They held Washington and Lee to a 1-0 decision. Generals picked second in the preseason ODAC poll. Hasn't been the start that they were looking for, a 2-4 intro to the 2023 campaign. But nonetheless, Washington Lee did enter the year ranked 16th in the country. So we know the center defense can hang with some good quality opponents. The thing is, for Lynchburg, it's sort of been a case of the easy button when you're tacking up those penalty corners. Of course, the penalty stroke that Sarprenz came in. And actually, I'll have to make a referendum to my last point a moment ago. Sarprenz getting on the scoring too. That'd be 12 Hornets in the last 4 games. Vendricks, her shot knocked to the floor by McHenry. That's probably the best save we've seen today by McHenry. So credit to her. I know 4 goals have gotten by, but anytime your opponent gets an opportunity, a penalty stroke, you're putting your goalkeeper in a bad spot. And really the same thing on the penalty corners. And that accounts for 3 of Lynchburg's 4 goals. So McHenry has stood tall, and she doesn't look rattled at all. Continues to step up to the occasion and make saves. Again, a goal against average, well south of 2 on the year. A save percentage up near 80%. Middle of the field right now is Micah Ucha. She feeds inside, looking for Marlou Vendricks, who misplays it, goes out of bounds. Should be center ball, and it will be. Nope, never mind. Reset back up top to Lynchburg. They say last touch by center. And again, the Hornets, that time it's Weinfordner, and she's looking to get it to Marlou Vendricks. So you don't have to be an expert to try and figure out who Lynchburg's trying to get the ball to in the first half of this game. We mentioned a lot of different people capable of putting points on the board and that have put points on the board for this Lynchburg team, especially as of late. But make no mistake, last year's leading goal scorer, Marlou Vendricks, is more often than not going to be the first option. Good save made defensively, streaking in from left to right for center was number 9, Hallie Rigdon. Not sure if they will give her the defensive save there, but a great play made, breaking on that ball, closing on it at just the right moment. Marina Dedwadney into the game now for Lynchburg. Ventile was looking to feed it to her. Turns it over to center. Trying to work it up the field. They were looking for Jackie Rodriguez into the game. Instead, it's taken by Allie Freeman and sent back ahead for Lynchburg. Vendricks feeds inside, looking for Mark. Mark's shot blocked. Now it's with Balsamo. Again looking for Vendricks. Vendricks trying to turn and get a shot off. She never will. She's turned over by center. Ventile takes it back for Lynchburg. Ventile shoots one, soars over everybody. That one had some arc to it. Ventile puts one up for the top shelf a little bit too high. Gives it back to center. 8 minutes to go in the first half. Lynchburg a 3-0 advantage in the first, tacked on one more here in the fourth. 4 different goal scorers for Lynchburg on the day. Kanye Mazizi got things going. Sarprenz made it 2-0 on Lynchburg's first penalty stroke of the year. Kessa Schaefer picked up her first goal of the season. And as of right now, Marlou Vendricks credited with the 4th goal of the day. Riley Cameron has to go back and get that one on the far side. Had Weinfordner back behind her to try and get out of trouble. Doesn't have to use her, though. Instead, working up the far sideline. Dedwadney's pass gets out ahead and too long for Jenna Tangiers. Lynchburg resumes possession at the back line in their attacking half. Dedwadney feeds it ahead and out of bounds. Ahead of everybody again, looking either for Sydney Rowe or Jenna Tangiers there. First time we've called Rowe's name today. Only appeared once in the first 4 games of the season. She's appeared in all 4 of the Hornets' last 4 outings. And Wandi doesn't get all of that one. It's turned over, taken the other way by center. So some fresh faces on the offensive side. Defense remaining about the same. Ventil, Cameron, Weinfordner in as a reserve to replace Mallory Lamb. And we'll probably see a lot of new faces today. I shouldn't say new, but different faces for Lynchburg. Sydney Metz, another one into the game right now. That other 5th year alongside Kessa Schaefer. I mentioned the point made by Dorestein after yesterday's big win over York, but plenty of validity to it. This is a team with some tired legs. Back-to-back games, 3 in the last 4 days. And that Randolph-Macon game and that York game, the last 2, very hard-fought outings. Lynchburg got up 2-0 against Randolph-Macon on Thursday night. Yellow Jackets struck back, picked up a goal in the 3rd quarter. Lynchburg was largely able to play keep away and just keep possession on their attacking third, as they've done for most of the first half today. But that one got a little more stressful than anticipated at the halftime break. And then, of course, yesterday, it was a 2-0 shutout victory, but score might not tell the full story of how that game went between Lynchburg and York. That was hard-fought team effort for the marquee win, the resume-building win Lynchburg was looking for early on in the year. First opportunity at a ranked opponent, and they made the most of it. Of course, Lynchburg's one loss on the year came to an Ursinus team that was not ranked when they played, but is now the number 19 team in the country. Freeman has it near side, looking to cross inside. It's broken up by center and Abby Brainerd, our player to watch. Defensive anchor for the center back line. Ventil corrals it, shoots it ahead, looking for Mazizi. Foul goes against center. We got our first penalty corner of the 2nd quarter for Lynchburg. Haven't had as many stoppages. This is just the 2nd one of the 2nd period. We've flown through 4.5 minutes remaining in the first half. That first quarter took a little bit longer to get through. But I believe this is penalty corner number 7 on the day for Lynchburg. And again, that ties their season average. About 7.5 coming into today. We have yet to hit the halftime break. Mazizi will send it in for the first time this year. She goes to Ventil. Ventil's shot is going to be blocked, broken up, and cleared ahead. Center gets out of trouble there. Credit the block to number 23, Claire Martin. 3 points on the year for Martin, 1 goal, 1 assist. Just a 5% shooting average. Weinfordner sets it back up for Lynchburg. Goes to Balsamo. Balsamo looking for Tangiers. The helper from Tangiers has played a little too strongly. Goes out of bounds, back over to center. Colonel's looking for some sort of momentum before we hit the halftime break. They got time for it. You feel like if they can just put a little pressure on the offensive side, find that first goal, take the lid off of this thing and break the ice, might at least change some of the morale in the halftime break. They've held Lynchburg to just 1 goal in the 2nd quarter. And again, they've done a pretty good job, for the most part, limiting Lynchburg in the regular flow of the game. They've just afforded too many penalty corners. They've given Lynchburg too many easy chances to score. I mentioned this in the first quarter. Lynchburg's one of the best teams in the country converting on those penalty corners. Got a deep bag of set-piece opportunities to work with. And it seems like each and every game they're getting better and better at using them. The penalty stroke, I mean, throw that right in there with the rest of them. That's advantage offensive team every single time. Ball rolls across the far end line. Mallory Lamb in to retrieve it. She's back into the game. So essentially 4 defenders on the field right now for Lynchburg. Think of it as a pack line defense. Riley Cameron, Vernay Ventil, Riley Weinfordner, and Mallory Lamb all in the game together. Allie Freeman getting a spell. An interesting decision from Coach Steele. A concerted effort over the final 2.5 minutes of this game to keep center off the board. Lynchburg, a long way to go in this one. They would be looking for their 4th shutout of the season. They had a 4-0 win over Lebanon Valley to open the year on the road. A 1-0 hard-fought battle is dribbling down. That was impressive from center. Kayla Brady, dangerous, comes out of the goal. Riley Weinfordner takes her place. How about the dribbling out in space? Why roll it along the carpet when you can just bounce it on your stick? The skill on full display on the fast break opportunity for center. It results in their best offensive look of the day. So a little unorthodox, but hey, whatever gets the job done. Corralling it now, way down the field, trying to get out in space again. Riley Cameron trying to poke it away, giving defense, trying to turn and fire. Was number 15, Emily Ritchie. She's got a pair of scores on the year. I believe it was Ritchie that was performing the balancing act there a moment ago. Granted, I wouldn't exactly call myself the most literate person in the building when it comes to operating with a field hockey stick in my hands, but I'm pretty impressed by that. It's up ahead to Sydney Rowe, 50 seconds to go in the first half. She crosses to Balsamo, little give and go. She goes back to Rowe, but Rowe has to go back to get it. Believe center was the last to touch it. Good effort to keep it in bounds there. That was Reese Smith tracking it down along the near sideline. After all that, Kuhn has it advancing for Lynchburg. Trying to split a pair of center defenders. Stick gets in her way. Penalty goes against center. Will it be a penalty corner? Yes, it will. Number 8 on the day. The center defenders go to retrieve the masks yet again. Lynchburg with 22 seconds to go after a much improved defensive effort in this second period from center. Lynchburg might be able to render that defensive effort relatively useless if they can tack another goal on here and go up 5-0. It will be sent in by Danielle Kuhn. She fires to the far side, looking for Balsamo. Play is halted. Clock continues to roll now. 13 seconds to play. Setting up for another penalty corner. I'm not sure if the clock should be rolling right now. It stops with 1 second to go. Marina Nedwadny fires one in. It would have counted if it went, but Nedwadny unable to convert on that shot, and we have hit the half from the Hill City. Not on Schellenberger Field, but Lynchburg looking right at home as they take a 4-0 advantage to the break. We will step aside for just a moment and be right back for some stats, analysis, and a little more on the LHSN Halftime Show. Welcome back inside the press box where we have hit the break from the Hill City. Lynchburg taking on center. Not on the friendly confines of Schellenberger Field, but not too far removed. And like I said, going to the break, Lynchburg looking right at home, playing over here on campus of Liberty University. They hold a 4-0 advantage through 30 minutes. Lynchburg continuing its first half dominance, a disparity that is now 19-2 through the first and second quarters, and they have still not let up a goal in the second frame. Lynchburg now outscoring opponents 9-0 in the second. We'll bring you back and take a look at the halftime numbers first by telling you our LHSN scoring summary. Got things going today. We'll finally sort this out in its entirety and get it all right. It was with 4:56 into the contest. Kanye Mazizi scored her second goal of the season. Assist given to Marlou Vendrix. Vendrix lined up the shot. It was tapped in by Mazizi. Then, just about 2 minutes later, Sarprenz came in to take the first penalty stroke of the season, converted that with ease for her first goal of the year. Then late in the first quarter, 12:51 into the game, Kessa Schaefer picked up her first goal of the season. That was assisted by Riley Cameron, her third of the year. And then finally, the lone score in the second quarter came at the 15:47 mark when Marlou Vendrix finally got on the board for herself. 3 points for Vendrix in the first half, leads all scores. And that extends, I believe, to now 10 points over the past 4 games for Marlou Vendrix. Actually, check that. Should be 12. So a balanced attack from Lynchburg that has now seen 2 new faces score now over the past 4 games. That's 12 different Hornets recording a goal in the last 4 games. That total score, the total goal number now up to it's 9 against Kenyon, 2 more against Randolph-Macon, 2 yesterday against York, and 4 through the first half today gives, I believe, see how good I am at math on the fly here, I believe that should be 17 goals to just 2 allowed for Lynchburg over its past 4 contests. It has been a dominant affair. Now we'll run through some of the team stats. 20 shots for Lynchburg to 0 for center. Center's best opportunity came late in that second quarter, streaking down the field in transition. Did force Kayla Brady to come out of the cage, but she has not been credited with a save or a shot faced. Half of Lynchburg's goals, 10, have been placed on frame. 6 of them have been saved by McHenry in goal. She has been good. Don't let the score fool you. McHenry has been very, very good in goal today, 60% save percentage. She's just been placed in bad situations. I mean, you look at the penalty corners tacking up to 8 in the first half for Lynchburg. That is ahead of their season average. That's just through 2 quarters. She's been tasked with defending all of those, and she's stopped 6 of those 8 from being converted into goals, and then was thrown into fire in the penalty corner, the penalty stroke taken by Sarprenz. Not a whole lot of a chance in that scenario. I mean, those penalty strokes very close to the goal. So still a good half put together by McHenry. Lynchburg looking for its 4th shutout of the season. Both teams 23 fouls apiece. Before we step aside, we will throw it back to our man in the studio, Evan Gates, for a little extra analysis on that first half.
Thank you, Sam. And like you said early on, if the only problem for the Hornets today is distinguishing who scored when, I think it's a very nice day for Lynchburg, and they have certainly shown their prowess on the AstroTurf. 3 games in 4 days. They've continued to just put momentum in the right direction, and hey, when you put the ball in play, good things can happen. They have shown it time and time again. So second half, you look, maybe some defensive changes, maybe some substitutions that have a very different lineup for Coach Steele. You can afford that possibility early in the season, whereas when you look at ODAC play, you really want to make sure that you have the right people in the right spots. So as Lynchburg continues, it's going to be very interesting to see what they can do. And hey, Marlou Vendrix, how about her handprint on this game and so many others? Just an awesome opportunity for Lynchburg to put numbers on the scoreboard today. Back to you, Sam.
Vendrix has been fantastic. That's probably an understatement over the past several games. Didn't have quite the start she was looking for offensively. Spoke to her about that a few times over the first several games, but man, has she hit the ground running in the last several outings. Now 6 goals on the year. Believe it's up to 5 assists for Vendrix on the season. That's 17 points on the year. Offense certainly starting to come together for the sophomore out of the Netherlands. We'll get you one major change. We are going to have a new goalkeeper, so it looks like the day is done for Kayla Brady without ever having to face a shot. She came into today boasting a .92 goal against average. .92, a career high for the junior goalkeeper. A lot of season to go, a lot of big games still up on the horizon, but looks like she will get out of today at least pitching an individual shutout. It will now be Shai Skoons making her third appearance of the season. She's been good so far, only been tested once on the year, and she did make the save, a 0-0-0 goal against average for Skoons on the year. Do want to highlight that center defense. When they were tested in the open field and the general flow of the game, they were good. And they kept Lynchburg scoreless for the final 14 minutes of that first half. So this is, again, it's one of those cases, the score not telling the entire story of today's game. Really, it's been the penalty corner. It's been the easy opportunities. I mentioned easy button in the first half. I'm stealing that a bit, I guess, either from Staples or the Athletic Football Show, whichever you prefer. But, yeah, I mean, when you're giving the 45th year legendary head coach, who, by the way, with a win today, I believe, ties the active winningest leader in Division III field hockey wins and ends a steal, somebody who is great at drawing up these set pieces, self-admittedly so. Yeah, I mean, it is easy button for Lynchburg. You're giving them what they want, and you know Lynchburg's going to control time of possession for the most part. They've been able to do that pretty much against everyone they've played this year. So for center in this second half, it's going to be continuing that good defense in the open field, in the general flow of the game, and continuing to limit Lynchburg's easier opportunities. They only gave up 2 penalty corners to the Hornets in the second quarter. That's a good step in the right direction, but on the flip side, center's got to start creating a little more pressure with their offense. We do flip the field now. Center attacking to our right. Lynchburg attacking to our left. It's still McHenry in goal. Good first half for her for center. And we'll see if we see any of Samira Garavi today. Seen her once this year. That was in the 9-1 win over Kenyon. And again, third appearance of the season for Skoons. She took over in the fourth quarter of the Ursinus game. Went the last 10.5 minutes in goal for Lynchburg. Did not face a shot. Picked up her first career save, the freshman out of the Netherlands, against Kenyon. All 3 goalkeepers played in that Kenyon game. All 3 recorded a save. And here we go, the dribbling again. So impressive from Megan Speth. Center trying to get out and create something. Chasing down the ball. It's a battle for it. Who's first to it? Foul goes against center. So it's not going to matter who was quicker there. Riley Cameron's going to take it over and send it back ahead for Lynchburg. Poking at it is Danielle Kuhn, taking it away. Good use of the stick skills there. Number 2 on number 2. Danielle Kuhn battling with Reese Smith. Kuhn takes it away. Lynchburg resets on their attacking half of the field. Kuhn surveys, looks ahead, gives off to Mazizi. Mazizi has Boatwright to her left, looking to do it herself. Here comes the patented spin move, looking for some help. Doesn't have anybody to feed it to. Good job packing that in by center, but they turn it over immediately after. Olivia Muir sends it back in for Lynchburg. Works backwards to Cameron. All 10 field position players in the front half of the field for Lynchburg right now. Cameron the furthest back. Kessa Schaefer trying to corral that. She couldn't, but Marlou Vendricks can. Vendricks sends in another one high. Boatwright on the doorstep. The goal was scored by Kanye Mazizi. It's not going to count. We have a player down for center. Injured player appears to be number 9, Hallie Rigdon. 8th start on the year for center. While the athletic trainers tend to her, we will step aside for a brief moment. come back. We will take a break by telling you our score. It's Lynchburg 4, Center 0, 11:04 remaining in the third quarter. We return to Liberty University with a 4-0 Lynchburg advantage. Another penalty corner coming up, the first one of the second half for Lynchburg. Injured player there on that last play was Hallie Rigdon, and she will come out under her own power, but she will be replaced by Peyton Gom. And here we go again. It's going to be McHenry being tested in goal for the 9th time today on a penalty corner, for the 10th time today on a penalty opportunity for Lynchburg. Boatwright's going to send it in for the Hornets. She does so to Cameron in the center. Cameron's pass right on a dime for Vendricks. Who's getting in the way of that shot? Marlou Vendricks does it for the second time today. And with 10:55, there's no debate about who scored that one. Marlou Vendricks, have yourself a day. She's on a heater.
The assist goes to number 14, Riley Cameron.
Another assist for Riley Cameron. Another goal scored off the penalty corner for Lynchburg. Marlou Vendricks got to be feeling pretty good. A smile on her face. Lynchburg leads it 5-0. 10:50 to go in the third quarter. Just coming up on the noon hour from the Hill City, and it's all Lynchburg so far. But the story from our first half continues. Center's defense holding up well in the general flow of the game. The penalty corners just proving to be the difference. Lynchburg scoring 4 of its 5 goals on the day off of penalty opportunities. 3 off corners, 1 off a penalty stroke. It's too many miscues with their backs against the wall today for Center. Long way to go in this one. Is that pass? Yeah, that's what AstroTurf will do. We saw it numerous times yesterday in the York game. Lynchburg's passes getting out in front of their intended recipients. Good job breaking on the ball by Danielle Kuhn. Vendrick streaking to her right. Now everybody catches up. Kuhn trying to spin out of trouble, has it taken away by the Colonels. Kanye Mazizi's going to send it back in off the center foul for Lynchburg. She momentarily looks like she's going to work backwards to Kuhn, then goes down along the end line. Another spin move from Mazizi, trying to get away from 1, 2, 3 defenders. 4th defender pokes it away from the freshman's stick. And now Center trying to get out of trouble, surveying up the field. Another good job defensively, but once again the ball rolls out of bounds. That is Hallie Rigdon back into the game. Good to see her back into the action. Went down a couple moments ago right before that penalty corner that gave Lynchburg the 5-0 advantage. It's 18 goals over the past 4 games for Lynchburg. Trying to look for another one. Vendricks was looking for the hat trick. Won't find it there. Scoots out of bounds. But that one was another one that was looking pretty good on its way towards the goal. Just goes off wide to the near side. Weinfordner will send it back in for Lynchburg. Vendricks corrals it in the far corner. Looking to get away from her defender. Instead, elects to work backwards to Megan Stifler. Making her first appearance of the day here in the second half. Lynchburg turns it back over via a foul and then takes it right back. Kessa Schaefer has it poked away. Back and forth we go in the Lynchburg attacking third. Now Lynchburg will set up again And me, oh my, you got to be kidding. Another penalty corner afforded to Lynchburg. We're into double digits. And it just doesn't get any easier for Carly McHenry.
Lynchburg corner.
So for the most part today and for the most part this season, we have seen Boatwright send these corners in. We have seen her elect to go forward to Riley Cameron, who typically takes her first step backwards while the two Hornets blanketing her go forwards. That's what we see again. It comes into Cameron. She passes to her left. It's blocked, limping a bit. Highland with the shot. That is blocked. Now sent out of bounds. We're going to stay on this end of the field. Catching a piece of a stick or maybe the ball was Claire Martin. She's limping a bit, but seems to be okay to remain in the game. Lynchburg's going to reset a couple paces backwards. Weinfordner looks first for Boatwright, now works ahead to Schaefer. First goal of the season in the first half. Scooping shot by Kanye Mazizi. She was looking for her second goal of the day. And another foul in close against center is going to be penalty corner number 11 for Lynchburg. Erin Boatwright there, she was ready to celebrate right on the spot.
Lynchburg corner.
Thought Mazizi might just go ahead and scoot that one in on her own, but instead, here we go. The penalty corners starting to stack up yet again in the third quarter. I believe this is the 11th of the game. It's a 26-0 shot margin favoring Lynchburg. Boatwright gives near side this time, gives it to Highland. She immediately lines up a shot in close. Schaefer looking for the rebound. Good job by McHenry covering that thing up. Doesn't allow Lynchburg to get off the shot at once. If you can believe it, we still got 7 minutes to go in this third quarter. Clock starting to stop with a little more frequency again as the penalty corners have made their return after a break in the second quarter. From an offensive perspective, it has been all one-sided favoring Lynchburg, but 10 saves now into double digits for Carly McHenry. Lynchburg, one of the few times in the second half with their backs against the wall. Center's going to have an opportunity to send this thing back in, and they're attacking third. Battling for it in the semicircle. Dangerous position there for Lynchburg, and here we go. First penalty corner of the day for center. Lynchburg a little too aggressive inside the circle, and
Center corner.
mentioned that was a bit of a dangerous spot for Lynchburg to be in. And now center is going to get it its best opportunity of the day so far on its first penalty corner of the afternoon. Center looking for its first shot on the day. It's going to be sent in, it's like by number 3, Maggie Will. She goes center of the field. Now pass to the left, broken up by Mazizi. She started that possession in the frame, steps out, makes the play on it. It is cleared up ahead by Vendricks. Fast break opportunity nearly for Lynchburg. Had Boatwright streaking down the field to the left side. Chasing after the ball for Lynchburg. Actually, not sure. Looks like number 12. I don't have a 12 on the roster today, so this could be just a jersey change. Happens from time to time. Again, we typically see Lynchburg, at least as of lately, when they're playing at home, wearing their black uniforms. Today going with the gray. Yeah, that is number 12, but no number 12 listed on the roster today. Ventile posts up right near midfield, tries to turn center over. Center shakes it off, keeps possession on the right half of the field. Now Ventile takes it away. Ventile giving some good defense and good work in the midfield today on her first career collegiate start. Into the game as well is Nina Hartman. Another product of the Netherlands on Coach Steele's team. 8 Dutch players in total. With Shai Schoons getting into the game in goal, and now with Nina Hartman into the game, I believe we've seen all of them at some point today. It's Olivia Muir with it right now, near side, looking for Hartman. Can't get it there. And that pass ahead and cannot be corralled. Looking to work towards the goal. Center takes over. They're defending half, trying to work up on the near sideline. Played on, continues to be sent ahead. And here we go, fast break opportunity for center. Muir giving chase. How about the speed from center's Jackie Rodriguez, trying to outrun everybody, making Schoon step out of the goal. Can Lynchburg get it out of there? Looks like this time the foul is going to go against center, so Lynchburg takes over. Another good opportunity. Center's had some chances in transition today. That was a good display of passing, and then how about the speed? Again, Jackie Rodriguez outrunning Olivia Muir down the near side. Now we're seeing some stick skills from Danielle Kuhn in the Lynchburg side of things. She works to her left to Hartman. Now Lynchburg trying to get out in transition. Hartman with nobody in front of her. Here comes the shot. Boatwright tried to put a play on it. Hartman's shot just did not quite have enough heat on it, and it is stopped by center. They keep their goalkeeper clean. She is not forced to make a save in that instance. 10 saves on 15 shots faced today. Save percentage just south of 70 on a day that center is afforded 11 penalty corners to Lynchburg. Kuhn sends it in to Ventil. Ventil trying to split a pair of center defenders. She's unable to, but then the whistle blows, foul called against the Colonels. Hartman near side, active on the offensive side since making the appearance today. Muir works backwards. Sar Prinz had her first goal of the season. She's taken over Riley Cameron's spot as the center back. We rarely, if ever, see Riley Cameron come out of the game, so happy for her to get a little bit of a spell. Several players on this Lynchburg team that seem perfectly okay being in the game as much as they possibly can be. That's not a bad problem to have. Ballin forward on the far side. It's taken by Schaefer for the moment. Coming in to try and poke it back away for center was Abby Brainerd. Lead center with 2 defensive saves on the year. Center has picked up 2 shots in this third frame. Got just over 90 seconds to play before the final quarter is upon us. We'll go back to that last opportunity. Center tacking on those 2 shots consecutively, testing Shai Schoons outside of the goal. Schoons making her second and third saves on the season. That pass gets by everybody. Again, center escapes. And with 1:09 to play in the third quarter, see what center can put together offensively. Lynchburg puts a stop to whatever they were looking for. Kuhn has it center of the field, works to Hartman. Hartman again on the near side, this time has it taken away. Trying to work it ahead. And now does get it ahead. Here comes center again on the attacking half. The latter portion of this third quarter, we've seen center get out in space a little bit, get out in transition. Certainly a pep in their step in this third quarter. Far side pass sent out of bounds by Peyton Gom. 3 Hornets, 2 Colonels battling for it. And now sprinting into action. Center, Johnny on the spot. That does take us to the end of the third quarter. Good effort there from the Colonels. trying to turn in some offense right before the break. They will not pick up their first goal. Lynchburg has pitched a shutout through 3 quarters, looking for their second in a row, their 4th on the year. Shy Schoons tested twice, saves them both, and Lynchburg tacks on 1 more goal in the 3rd quarter. So we will hit the break by telling you our new score. It is Lynchburg 5, Center 0. You're watching Field Hockey on LHSN. Welcome back inside the press box. 4th quarter on tap on the campus of Liberty University. Liberty Mountain overlooking us to our right. It's a 5-0 Lynchburg advantage through 3, looking for their 4th shutout on the year. It's a combined effort in cage, and we're going to see our 3rd goalkeeper of the day in this 4th quarter. Imagine Samir Garavi will go the rest of the way. Sophomore out of Germany, making her 2nd appearance of the season. Had 4 saves against Kenyon in her season opening performance. Was beaten 1 time. That was the lone goal in that Kenyon game, but an 80% save percentage. Is technically the highest, 2nd highest on this Lynchburg team. Shy Schoons, 3 saves and 3 shots faced. 100% still for her through 3 appearances. She handles the 3rd quarter. Kayla Brady handled the first half, and now see if Samir Garavi can close it out in the cage for Lynchburg. This 5-0 advantage is a big boost for Coach Steele's squad. If nothing else, just allows them to get some more faces and some fresh legs into the game. This is one of those games that can be tricky if it turned into a bit of a rock fight, and it's you enter the 4th quarter, it's 1-0, and you got to ride your starters a little harder. By my count, only see Renee Ventile and Mallory Lamb in the game right now. It's only 2 of the 11 starters for Lynchburg at the beginning of the game. And Lamb got a good spell earlier in the day. Ventile making just her first start of the season, filling a spot typically filled by Allie Freeman. Far side, it's Sydney Metz bouncing, tiptoeing along that far side, trying to get out in front of her defender, works it ahead, and it'll be kicked away and out of harm's way by Carly McHenry. Sam Graham with you for Game 8 of the season for Lynchburg. Approaching the midway point of the 2023 campaign, a 19-game slate for Lynchburg. They now have their first top 25 game under their belt, first conference game under their belt, won both of those. 6-1 start to the year and looking to improve to 7-1 for the 2nd consecutive season. Year 45 for Coach Steele is off and running. Center's going to take over after Ventile fired a shot in from beyond the semicircle. Doesn't matter. It goes wide of the goal anyway. Nina Hartman pokes it away for Lynchburg. She's been very active since coming in the second half. Tangier's looking to feed ahead, and once again, ball kicked away by McHenry, who has still been beaten only once within the regular flow of the Lynchburg offense. Lamb has it on the far side, trying to keep it inbounds in the far corner. It's sent out. It looks like sent out by center, so Lynchburg resets the offense, center the defense. And Ventile will try things again for Lynchburg. Prinz still in the game in the center back spot. She makes a defender miss. But now center pokes it away. Good job, Ventile, ending what could have been a dangerous fast break opportunity. Micah Uchis has it, looking for the spin. She is picked up defensively and spun into the double team. Center tries to force the turnover, instead whistled for the foul.
Lynchburg.
We got the first penalty corner of the fourth quarter for Lynchburg. We mentioned at length how Lynchburg's utilized these penalty corners. This time Prinz sends it in. Goes to Uchis. Uchis shot kicked away. Second opportunity, first by Tangiers, second by Sar Prinz. And guess who? McHenry stands tall for all three of them. It's going to take a big momentum shift for center to come back and win this game, but I'm telling you, the 5 goals does not tell the story for the game put together by McHenry in goal. That's the 12th penalty corner for Lynchburg. McHenry has stopped 9 of them. Been beaten 3 times on corners, once on a penalty stroke. But even still, 11 saves on 16 shots faced. Tumbling to the turf there in transition, trying to track down the ball was Olivia Ruth. First time we've called her name. Center recollects it at the back line. Dribbling to her left, it's Megan Speth. Speth, Ritchie, and Maggie Will, each with 2 goals apiece coming into today's game as center affords itself its second penalty corner of the day. The offense starting to come together a little bit better in the second half. It's come in 2 forms. This is second penalty corner of the day, and on 3 or 4 occasions, center's gotten out in transition. We've seen some of the speed and some of the poise and composure moving down the field and at least giving themselves opportunities. So here comes penalty corner number 2 for the Colonels. First real test of the day for Samira Garabi in goal for Lynchburg. It's taken by Speth. Thinks about it. Dribbles past Lamb. Now gets in closer. Good dribbling by Speth. But in close, Lynchburg stands tall. You don't see that every day. Typically the first person that the penalty corner goes into looks to pass. On that one, Speth, who again leads the team in points with 5, looked to just do it herself. Prinz turns it over. Best opportunity of the day. Crossing. Good save made by Garavi. She keeps a clean sheet for Lynchburg. But for the second or third time today, center getting some good looks at it in their attacking third. Lynchburg just continues to stand tall, not only in the cage, but the defense as a whole. That's the 3rd and 4th shots of the day for center. Hornets, a combined effort, 2 saves for Skoons, 2 saves for Garavi. If you're Coach Steele and specifically Coach Karen Mann, you got to feel pretty darn good about the depth you have in cage this year. We know what Kayla Brady has done. She's got 23 saves on the year, save percentage just south of 80% as the starter, and a goal against average that came into today under 1 and will be even lower after she went perfect in the first half. But then you even look further down the depth chart. Samir Garavi has now made 6 saves on the year, allowed only 1 goal. Shai Skoons faced 3, saved all of them. Your backup goalkeepers have combined to save 9 of the 10 shots they've faced. And you have a starter that's the reigning first-team All-ODAC goalkeeper in Kayla Brady. I mean, it's a good spot to be in. Hartman trying to work it ahead, believe for Lauren Mark. Mark can't quite get to it. Lynchburg turns it back over to center. Hornets protecting a 5-0 advantage under 8 minutes to play. Seen center get down the field offensively in spurts in this second half. Haven't been able to string a ton of those looks together and really put the pressure on the Lynchburg defense, but still time. Lamb battles, takes it away on the far side right near midfield. Lamb surveys, feeds ahead, ball rolls across the sideline and out of bounds. Stays on this end of the field. Lamb looks ahead, moving towards the ball is Uchis. Lamb had Ventil behind her as well, takes it herself, and again has it poked out of bounds. Good use of the double team by center along the sideline. Prenz rockets one inside, could not be corralled by neither Jenna Tangiers nor Lauren Mark. Rolls out of bounds. Now center able to take control once again. 6:56 to play. Lynchburg looking to pick up its 5th straight victory. That, of course, would take them to 5-0 in their past 5 contests, and they have done more than get rid of the bad taste left in their mouth by that Ursinus loss. Tough one, obviously, because you want to win them all, but even magnified by the fact that was Lynchburg's Code Red game. It was a good crowd, even for an 11 a.m. start. And Ursinus, one of the historically great programs in Division III, just got the better of them on the day, but the response from Lynchburg's been phenomenal. They own one of the best wins in the country right now with yesterday's defeat of number 7 York, who already held a win over Johns Hopkins. I mentioned Lynchburg trying to improve to 7-1 for the 2nd straight year. They would also do so holding a win over a top 10 team. Last year defending home field and taking down Johns Hopkins. Vintage Kayla Brady performance, 18 saves in that game for a 2-0 win. How about the exact same score, 2-0 yesterday over York. Trying to cross it was Madison Mark back into the game here late in the 4th. So Lynchburg, it's been a little bit of an adjustment playing on AstroTurf. We've seen some passes, some uncharacteristic passes just sent far ahead that haven't been able to be tracked down. Not going to see that happen very often on Schellenberger Field. Prenz works it ahead to the far side, corralled by Lamb. We've seen her for pretty much the entirety of this 4th quarter. Marina Dedwadney back into the game. She works it ahead into the far corner. Tatum Humphreys, as we see more and more fresh faces come in for Lynchburg. Humphreys has it poked out of bounds, now trying to get out of trouble. Looking for somebody to come help her, chasing down the loose ball. Now stepping up Snedwadney before she can get to it. It's sent out of bounds. Sent ahead and corralled instead by center. Ball bounces up high, dangerous ball. Foul whistled against center. Lynchburg takes over inside. They're attacking third with 4:22 to play. And here comes the Lynchburg keep away, for lack of a better term. And I don't say that to say that they take their foot off the gas pedal or anything. You see they're still trying to put shots up. They're still playing all the way to the final whistle, but it's more so just the style of play Lynchburg employs. You see it through most of the game, but especially when protecting a lead late in the 4th quarter, the opponents just don't seem to get too many chances, and Lynchburg does a nice job of keeping it on their half of the field. Pren's going to try to flip the field once again. Instead, she comes near side, and that ball misplayed a little bit. Couldn't track it down was Claire Baker. Seeing a lot of first-year faces. Baker, freshman defender out of Virginia Beach. strong Eastern Virginia contingent on this field hockey roster. Newport News, Virginia Beach. Open shooter on the far side of the semicircle. Shot does not make it to the near side post for Reese Smith. I believe that's her first shot of the game, 5th of the day for center. Now under 3 minutes to play. Mark gets it back ahead. It's just too many Colonels in the area. Whistle blows. It's given back to Lynchburg. Mark was ready to get off and run. Official says, nope, got to take a couple more steps backwards. Now Mark advances. Gives it off to Rowe. Rowe give and go back to Mark. Mark looking to score again. She again goes to that cross. She's done a good job both times of getting all of it, but there just hadn't been anybody there to receive it. Allie Freeman back into the game. A lot of freshmen on the field right now. A lot of underclassmen in for Lynchburg. That shot nearly rolls across the line and in. Instead, the score halts at 5-0. Only one goal scored in the second half. It was by Lynchburg in the third quarter. Marlou Vendrick's second goal of the game. 5 points on the day for Marlou. Baker tries to feed it ahead. It's corralled. One-on-one battle for it. Foul goes against center. We were knotted up 23 apiece in the fouls department at the half. That's same trend has pretty much continued here into the second. Two teams that average north of 30 fouls a game. Today it's 42 apiece. 32 fouls per game coming into the day for Lynchburg, 38 for center. Near side, Colonel's still looking to apply some offensive pressure. We got less than a minute to play. Colonel's trying to avoid the shutout. Only 9 goals on the year for center. Offense has been a little bit hard to come by. They have been better in the second half. 6 of their 9 goals have come in the third and fourth quarters. Foul goes against Lynchburg's Allie Freeman, sent the other way by center. 28 seconds to play. And a shout out to the center crowd today. A good contingent to the left of our press box, making the trip from Kentucky down to the Hill City on a beautiful day for field hockey. We started out with a pretty sunny late morning, early afternoon. It's gotten a bit cloudy. Official weather report says partly cloudy. But the final seconds will tick off on the 7th win of the season. Lynchburg improves to 7-1 for the second straight year. It's career win number 652 for head coach Enza Steele. That ties her atop the active winningest coaches list in Division III field hockey. And Lynchburg has won its 5th consecutive game, making the most of this extended homestand. A pair of neutral site games on back-to-back days this weekend. They get the job done in both. A 2-0 win yesterday over number 7 York. A 5-0 win today against Center. The extended stay in the Hill City has been good for Lynchburg. 5-1 so far, and they got one more game before they have to hit the road again. Lynchburg will take on Stevenson this upcoming week. That'll be September 27th, this Wednesday, slated for a 4:30 start. When they go on the road, it's going to be a tough road test. It's just one road game, but it's taken on number 22 Shenandoah, preseason number 3 team in the ODAC. Those two teams faced off in last year's ODAC semifinal contest. Lynchburg got the best of the Hornets before falling to Washington and Lee in the ODAC title game. Lynchburg travels both to Shenandoah and Washington and Lee in the ODAC slate this year. Only 2 more games to wrap up the September slate of games, but Lynchburg, the 25th team in the country, sure to rise in Tuesday's NFHCA poll. But for right now, we'll go ahead and get you out of here by telling you our score. The final, Lynchburg 5, Center 0. Center drops to 3-5 on the year. Lynchburg improves to 7-1. They are 1-0 in conference play. Hope you tune in for the rest of all of our LHSN broadcasts this season, especially in the upcoming week. You can hear my voice, Evan Gates, Kyle Haney, Andrew Watson. We got it all covered for you. We got a fantastic sports information staff assembled by Sam Rice and Tim LaDuca. Special shout out to our director today. That is Josh Smith. He's been crushing it in the Hill City this year, his first year on campus. And we, until next time, we'll be signing off.